Hello, we are ready to get started. I have to get an important call really quick. I have a buddy of mine who is stuck somewhere with a flat tire, so I was letting them know. I'm like, well, what do you have? Do you have a spare? What to do? That kind of stuff. They're all taken care of. They're good to go. I was sure. I'm like, do I need to go get you? But they were like more than an hour away, so I was like, ideally, you don't have to wait for another hour for me to get there. But nah, they're totally taken care of. So today I am starting a new model from scratch. More or less. I am always starting with the base mesh. Let me hear the audio sounds. Alright, music is still spooky though, because it's still going to be a spooky-ish model. Alright, let's get my music playing for me. I've been listening to the new Taylor Swift album pretty much nonstop on repeat, so I think I'm going to take a small break and do some autumn lo-fi. Yeah, that's nice. Alright. Well, let's get rolling. Alright, so I am making a creepy mushroom man, some sort of Myconid. He's going to be fairly like lumbering and stuff, not terribly intelligent looking either. So I'm going to make him kind of a short, round, fat, not too menacing, but a little creepy. So let's go. So this is ZBuilder. I love using this plugin. The only thing I don't like is you have to renew it like every 3 months and download a script. It doesn't take long, but it annoys the hell out of me. Other than that, I have no complaints. It's fantastic. Alright. So I'm going to go more on the male side. I'm going to turn the young slider on too, just a little bit, because I want him to be a little bit shorter. Not too worried about muscle definition. Do want him to be a little bit fatter. Oh, let me get my reference going too. There we go. I think I can throw that on screen too. That's the reference I have. You know, I might be able to just keep this on my screen somehow. But anyway, this is what I'm looking at. This is for commission, actually. It's for Backwater Games. It'll also be in my next Kickstarter. But yeah, this is what we're working on today. I wish there was a way that I could keep this on screen for y'all. And for myself. I won't worry about it. Let's just get it sculpted. Now I'm moving it to my other screen. Alright, and we're set. Gotta make sure I can see your guys' chat too. Live streaming cracks me up because you always need like 16 different windows open, it feels like. Alright. I think more of a monkey stance could go well for this too. And they requested having the mouth open. So I will get that. I believe that's under head. There we go. This is going to be a fun model. It's going to go through a lot of transformations just in this one stream. Alright. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you see that I'm doing a lot of stuff off screen, but you do end up wanting to see it, just let me know. I can just move my screens around a little bit. By default, I keep it like this just because most people that watch do not also sculpt. And so it's nicer if you guys have a closer view of just what I'm actually working on. I'm going to remove the high subdivision layer because I don't think I need it. And let's adjust the lighting in the matte cap. I already have basic material, which is great. Let's get another colored light on here. Alright, this is let the transformation begin. And yes, Xander, another mushroom person. I'm working on a mushroom Kickstarter pretty much. It's a curse for us. Alright. So the first thing I'll be working on here is just blocking out the character. I want to have main shapes going. I want to have the silhouette pretty defined. YouTube also gets upset with me for nudity, even though nothing is showing. So we're going to put a little piece of clothing on him before I get too far, because I don't know what triggers it. It just comes to a certain point and then YouTube is like, that is enough. And it will just drop the stream. So let's go ahead and take care of that before I get too far. I always extract my fabric at 0 thickness. It is easier to work with. And I ZBrush pretty much right away. This piece of fabric is going to be all torn up, so I'm actually not too concerned about the topology or having nice edge loops or whatever, because I'm just going to remove them anyway. I'm going to turn on double so I can see both sides, because as of now, there is no thickness. It doesn't even technically exist as of right now. Alright, he's got a modesty cloth. I don't know what to call it. I think I want to go more on the purple side. Yeah. I'll turn on dynamic too, and then just get a tiny bit of interest to this. Looks like more like fur right now that does torn up cloth, but that's not a problem. I'll deal with it later. Alright, now let's start working on the actual body and messing with that. Yeah, loincloth. Modesty cloth. Whatever. Mario mentions he's watching this from work at school while running reports. Let's see how this mushroom person grows. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what's going on. He's growing. Alright, I'm actually going to record a speed sculpt for this. I always mean to do this and I forget. Maybe you guys can start complaining at me when I forget, so I'll remember more often. It's really cool. So at the end of the live stream or at any pauses, I'll kind of play it back so we can see it, you know, happen quickly instead of over the course of hours too. Alright, I also want to get a color on him started. I'm thinking kind of like a mucky green of sorts. There we go. Alright. How do I want to do this? Okay. I want his legs to be much more like tree stumps. So let me get my mask brush going. And we'll just mask a leg. So right now I'm doing a lot of masking and a lot of 3D gizmo work. I also love using Move with the back face mask to pull out some shapes. You know, I think I'm gonna end up replacing his feet almost entirely. This is gonna be fun. This is one of those models where like the embarrassing stage is almost too much to handle, guys, but it's okay. I've been doing this for a long time. I can trust myself at this point that it's gonna work out okay. And give more of a round shape to these feet, because again, I want them to be more like tree trunks. But I still want him to have like definable shapes. Like, oh, okay, there's a knee. You can kind of see where the calf is. That kind of thing. Alright, that is good enough. The arms need to be much, much larger. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to end up doing with his hands either. Like, by the time I'm done with it, they might not even be hands. They might just be, like, sticks of some sort. Yeah, it looks very, very orcish right now. And then Joe is here. Hello! Joe has supported so much of my work over the years. I always recognize your name when it pops up, whether it's on Kickstarters or on Twitter. I really appreciate you, man. Also, I think adding a hunchback to him sooner than later is going to benefit this character. Usually I avoid that because it's pretty much like, you know, it's posing, and I usually do that at the very, very end. But when it's something like a hunchback that's going to affect the character so much as far as like the way that I sculpt it, I try to do it sooner than later. Alright, so to get a hunchback, I need to curve him over a little bit, but it's also important to pretty much have his head and the back of his shoulders on the same plane. Alright, so bring his neck down a little bit. And then I will do a mask on the base of his neck and tilt his head up. Also going to see if I can open his mouth a little bit more. Oh my goodness, this model has got some changes to go through. I don't think he needs ears either. I'm gonna give him like a little hat of sorts, so I won't worry about removing the ears. They're just gonna be covered anyway. Alright, and let's get this belly going. As much as I love sculpting the same pretty elfish girl, it's nice to do a character that's grosser. Really trying to think how his hands are going to, what they're going to look like. I think I might just remove a finger, and that might work best. Also, it looks like YouTube is complaining to me about something. Something about this stream and how many bits it has. I don't know why you're complaining to me. What do you want me to do? Change my internet? This is what I got, YouTube. Just roll with it. If you guys are getting a ton of stuttering and stuff, I apologize. YouTube seems to think I can fix it. I don't know why. Looks like we are starting to move out of the embarrassing stage, which is nice. Definitely not out yet, but it's improved. I want to give him a hunchback, but I also want lots of room to put stuff on his shoulders. What is the in-between? Oh, he's looking goofy. And Xander mentions, oh man, something that's not Fey Princessy is rare from you. I know. I like what I like. I mean, I've been sculpting Wrath a few days. Xander, you've seen me sculpt more ugly things recently than pretty, I think. No, it's about the same. Because I did the Cursed Dryad and then I did the Myconid Queen. We're about 50-50. I'm doing good. I'm diversifying. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna remove a finger. I don't know, I cannot give this guy like normal human hands. It just does not fit. So we're just gonna remove this guy. You only get 3 fingers. And I'm not sure how long I want his arms to be. I kind of like the idea of them being impossibly long. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I think his legs are too short and stumpy for this. Gosh, that neck just being like straight out is kind of, it's a lot. It's very creepy. All right, this is improving. I need to work on the face. It looks too ridiculous. All right, this is what we have to work with. So the teeth are a little distorted from when I moved it earlier, so I wasn't really paying attention. But I think it's all going to move so much, it's not going to end up mattering. I don't want it to look like he's yelling so much. I just want, like, open mouth, breather, like, dumb expression, if that makes sense. Like, slack-jawed. I'm gonna go in with the damn standard brush and lazy. And start kind of defining some features in here. Also get some poly paint on his face, because all of it being this like really orcish gray isn't doing a lot. I don't think having like fangs would make sense, but also just having these teeth doesn't do a lot either. I'm either going to replace the teeth entirely, or I am just going to bulk them up a little bit. Let's make them a little bit thicker, and then maybe make them a little more crooked, you know, stand out. Looks like a buck tooth kind of fella. Yeah, that's gonna help a lot. I don't think I'm gonna have to replace the teeth. I think I can just take what's already here. Okay, I don't want him to look like a squirrel. There we go. I think that's helping a lot. You can see the character a little bit more. I'm still not sure what I want to do with his eyes. I feel like they are too small and too big at the same time. Kind of like this brow he already has naturally. I don't want him to look like too sad. I want him to look dumb more than sad. Oh, hey Natalie, what's up? And then Bad King has a monster teeth brush. That's fun. I bet. And yeah, I agree. I don't think Mushroom Man should have good teeth, so we're gonna make him gross. All right, let's go ahead and hide this, and let's paint his teeth. I know the default's like a gross yellow, but maybe I'll do something else. All right, what we're gonna do is paint the whole thing kind of like a purplish red, and then I will fade out to this yellow color. There we go. Oops, I hit projectile. Please don't do that. Got my paintbrush, gonna change it to red drag rectangle because it's my favorite. And there we go. Gonna add a shadow to the back. Barely gonna see this, but it's gonna make a big difference. All right, he's got some teeth color going on. And I could even go back through after the fact and add like some spots to his teeth, but for now that's good. I'll probably add some cracks later too. All right. I don't know what color I want his skin to be. Like, I have this like greenish, but honestly it's a lot more vibrant than what I have in mind even. So I might darken the whole body, other than the mouth of course. I just painted that. I don't want to go too dark though, because it makes it harder to paint later on. Those feet are going to get replaced. They need help. Okay. Yeah, this is going to need a lot of different poly painting. You need to start getting some like dark browns in there. Apparently I don't know what color brown is. There we go. Like everything I put on here looks like neon. Yeah, so I'm gonna give him kind of like a two-toned look. That's gonna help a lot. Let's go back to his face again. And let's go with a much darker brown. I think I'm gonna give him like neon yellow eyes actually. I like the idea of something almost like bioluminescent looking. Doesn't have to make sense. It just has to be cool. He's looking scarier than I intended. We're gonna go with it. I like seeing it through like the shadow of his hat, you know? Mario says, I work they're doing a Halloween for the kids. They're showing up in costumes. Several kids are in little monster costumes. It's so nice to see them have fun. Yeah, that sounds really nice. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, one thing that, so I lived in an apartment since I moved out, which I moved out because I went to college. And then I've been in an apartment ever since until this year, which I'm in my first house. And no, I did not buy the house. I am not rich. I'm just renting. But we're super happy here, and I'm really, really excited to pass out candy to kids. Don't be confused. I do not like kids. I never plan on having kids. Everyone's like, oh, you'd be a great mom. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Yes, I can take care of a child, probably. I don't want to. But that being said, when kids are being happy little goobers, like, how can you not enjoy that, you know? I always get self-conscious of acknowledging kids in like a positive light around family, because they always see it as like I don't know, like I'm cracking, like, oh, she's gonna have kids, and I'm like, no, I'm just not. I have a soul, like, my goodness. I can enjoy happy little dudes still. I just don't want them. Joe said, glad I got to see some sculpting. Off for the night to have a good one all. Thank you, Joe, for hanging out. I really appreciate it. You have a great night, okay? Oh, I love time zones. It's currently 2 p.m. here for me. Not that you would know, because I'm about to get my second coffee. But yeah. I don't know what kind of nose to do for this guy, guys. I think I'm gonna stick with something orcish. I feel like he's looking too scary. It's okay. I'd rather him look very interesting than not. Okay, now he looks like distressed with something, like he was looking forward to something all day and he came home and he can't find it. It's missing. Don't look so sad. Maybe I should give him pupils. Maybe that's the problem here. One of the problems. Oh, it makes him look scarier, guys. What if he was like super like cross-eyed? I don't know. I think this is making it worse. He looks more sad now. Whatever. If I put like a little shiny in his eye. There. He's so cute. That looks like he's crying. Okay, we're just gonna leave the eyes alone. But he does look sad, I feel like. The hat needs some help. I'm gonna flip over the hat and add a wider brim to it. I like a big floppy sun hat. But I still want to be somewhat like short on the sides because I'm gonna add these like really cool like wall mushrooms for my shoulders. Natalie says, looks like he just went in the fridge and someone ate his leftovers with he's looking forward to. Absolutely. Xander says, yeah, he's the biggest and strongest boy. Not the sharpest tool in the shed, though. Are you planning on dressing up? I usually go as an 80s hair metal band member. However, I'm afraid of doing it this year as they'll think that I'm Eddie Munson, since there'll be a lot of them this year. Oh, that's a good point. No, I'm probably not going to dress up this year. Not that I don't like dressing up. At some point, I'm going to do like a super, super elaborate Halloween costume. Just this isn't that year, I think. Maybe try turquoise for the eyes. I feel like that's more bioluminescent. Yeah, it's way more bioluminescent. I don't know why I did yellow. We're going to do that. I don't want to re-poly paint it all the way. So we're just going to go to blue to the back side of it. And I think it's going to work. And we might actually still get a little bit of that yellow overlap. Because it's still, those are fun colors to exist side by side. Okay, I kind of like that. Now he's got like yellow and blue. Oops. Oh, he's very scary looking. I'm gonna stop looking at his face. I think I'm going to start going back to the body some more and focusing on where these mushrooms are going to be. Oops, that is too much thickness. Still too much thickness. Oh, that's fine. So, I already have these mushrooms that I've made before, and they're all nice and detailed and stuff. But for this, all I'm really concerned about is, where is backface mask? Oh, that's what's happening. Okay. I'm just worried about putting a bunch of these blobs in a space that I think looks nice, and then I'll come back and I'll actually put the real mushrooms that I sculpted. I could just start with the real mushrooms that I sculpted, but I'm not going to. No particular reason why. Oh, because I have to go find those mushrooms I sculpted, and I don't know where they are right now. I don't want to look for them. Looking better. Don't like his feet very much still, but everything in due time. I think as I move down, I want to have these mushrooms kind of layer on each other more. I want them to follow the musculature, you know? Not just be completely tacked on. There we are. And then I'll probably go through with auto groups, mirror and weld, and then turn on mask by polygroups to 100. And then I can just grab individual sections and move them around a little bit. There we go. Has a long way to go, but I am liking the general direction. I don't like this perfectly flat edge on the end of his little mushroom hat, so let's fix that. There we go. He still looks really sad. Alright. Looks like he has a parasect on his head. Absolutely. It's kind of what I'm thinking of. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate it. Very, very much for me. Very good. I've realized what's wrong with his neck. It's because he has like a super skinny neck despite being very fat. There we go. Let's make this neck make sense. So to do that, I use the move brush, and then I'm going to go with my standard brush and lazy mouse because it's like my favorite thing. And we're just going to add some rolls. Gonna do the same thing to his belly. Might actually do this with clay constant to kind of get a light texture on this too. Because none of his skin really should be perfectly smooth. Especially because he's all, you know, mushroomy. The face just isn't quite there yet. I think it just needs some shaping. This is improving a lot though. Alright, as of right now, the whole character is pretty rectangular, you know what I mean? So right now I'm going to really think about the actual proportions again to make this more interesting. I'd kind of like if his fingers were more vine-ish. And I'm going to mess with the lighting a little bit again too. There we go. More of a green lighting. Maybe even a purple. No. We're gonna do a green or a blue. I'm gonna go back to my main ambient lighting and turn it up a little bit. I still feel like he's hard to see. It's basic material. That's fast shader. I might work with fast shader right now. I also need to commit to a color palette on this. I need more browns in this. Now he says, I wonder if the face should be rounder, like Toad from Mario's Super Round. Yeah, that's true. Because he just kind of looks like orcish right now. I'm just not loving it. I like the mouth. As of now, yeah, he's kind of like gaunt. Which, I mean, that's kind of feels mushroomy too, having like these really pronounced cheekbones. Also, I think his eyes are too big. I just don't like it yet. Okay, having that upper lip flipped up more just makes him look dumb as opposed to sad, and that's good. That's what I'm wanting more, so. Alright, and the eyes, they were fun, but we're just gonna color them a solid color right now, because they're weirding me out, guys. I can do a blue glow at the bottom of them, just a little bit, but I cannot do this pupil thing. It's too weird for this character. Yeah, but it's his entire eye. Where is my massive polygroups? There it is. Just something subtle. Okay, that looks better. Now I'm going to turn off polypaint entirely. And focus on the shape a little bit, because there's just some goofiness going on. But it's improving for sure. Alright. Going in with clay tubes constant, and we're going to just build up forms that I know I want to be there for sure, which is these wrinkles. I'm fine with these. These are good. The nose has some problems. This really prominent fold is good. I think the chin could stand to be built up a little bit, or one of his chins. There's his other chin. And then this gauntness, I either need to lean into it more or move away from it. Also, by his nose, it shouldn't be this pushed out. There is gravity. There we go. That should just kind of droop more. There you go. Now he's looking really dumb as opposed to like sneering. So now I'm just adding a bunch of volume to his face with the move brush, kind of just making it poofed out. I still want, you know, cheekbones of some sort. Okay, the rounder helps, for sure. That's better. Being a fun guy life is a pain. Yeah. Mario asks, for Kickstarter adventures, do you have a time frame as to when you finish them? Also, how many models do you make in the course of a year? The course of a year? Lord. Well, let's put it this way. I started this in 2019 full-time, and since then I've made like over 500 models. As far as like Kickstarters, I usually make collections of old models, and I just put them out in a new, fresh setting, but they've all been released already. And then if it makes money and people want to see more of it, I make stretch goals from scratch. I never have stretch goals finished before I offer them. So like if they don't get unlocked, I don't just have like some secret model I'm sitting on. It never existed in the first place, which is how Kickstarter is supposed to work, I think. Like you're funding more art. So until I'm funded, I do not make more art, if that makes sense. That being said, I have no issue with studios that have all of them done ahead of times. Like they have a marketing plan, they have a much better idea of how much they're going to make. I don't. I just put together collections that I like, and I'm like, okay guys, how much do you like this? Based on how much people like it, correlates to how much money it's going to make, which correlates to how many models I'm going to make. It's all directly related. So if I had a Kickstarter that made $100,000, I would make $100,000 worth of models. As far as how many models I make in the year, it's an almost unfair question to ask, just because like I started sculpting entirely for the first time ever in 2018. So like my skill level has just started to like stabilize, if that makes sense. But this year, I think I've made like, I don't know, around 100. Should I give him a big underbite? Yes. Also, I think these teeth should point outward more. Let's go to auto groups. Yep, each tooth is its own little piece now. I think it'd be nice if his teeth were more crooked too. There's more personality in these teeth than I expected. Oh, and when I said your question was unfair, I didn't mean like it's rude. I just meant like I don't have a good answer for it because I'm so new. I like that you ask questions like that. They're fun to answer. I'm always open to talk anything that's even like remotely businessy. I'm very transparent about how I got here. Alright, that's improving a lot. Yes. Again, still not crazy about the silhouette. I think I might pose his legs a little bit, actually. I'm also worried about looking too much like the reference, because they only gave me one, which I say only, I didn't ask for more than one, so if I wanted more I should have asked. Because I know he's going to be more on like a squat, so I might as well just do that now. Gonna turn off perspective to make sure that he ends up being flat-footed by the end of this. Yeah, the wider stance helps a lot. That's more what this character is going to look like. I think his arms at the top aren't wide enough. I think so. The shape of this character is going to end up being like an hourglass, I think. Really wide shoulders and then really wide feet. Just not the hourglass you might have had in mind. That's better. He's very leaning forward right now. You know, I can actually fix that really quick. I can pose that now. Alright, this is under Cursed Forest, and this will just be Dark Myconid for now, because I don't know what to call him. If you guys have ideas of what this should be called, just let me know. I'm going to pop in a Transpose Master just really quick. Because he is so off balance right now. And I went into Transpose Master for this because I didn't want to have to manually pose his loincloth after the fact. This allows me to interact with my entire model as a whole. And honestly, now that we're here, I can actually use this to tweak his proportions some more too. I think his elbow is way too high. Let's move that down. Gonna remove the definition from his arms a little bit too. Like, they'll still have that taper, but just not as much. And his hat's kind of boring. What's a more interesting shape that will actually read well? Let's find out. That's more interesting. Then Mario continued, I think he said this earlier, but I missed it. I really would like to learn the pipeline of how digital artists do their work. Yeah, it depends what kind of digital art. If you talk about like 3D artists, it also depends what their goal is. Like, the workflow for a 3D artist is making game assets is much, much different than mine. Because I don't have to worry about a lot of things that they take into account. Like, if I'm constructing UVs, for example, UVs are, if you, a UV map, like, yeah, like a cardboard box, you can lay it flat, you know? And it has like those different little sections, you can fold it back up into a box. That's what a UV map is. I can take this model in like a box, unfold it so it's completely flat. And yeah, it looks cursed. They look really scary. I only use stuff like that to, like, for one specific thing. I'm using like surface noise and I want to know where my seams are. Other than that, like, I never use it. If you're making game assets, you want to have nice UV maps so that your normals and your textures are all talking to each other well, and it's still like really optimized. I don't care about any of this. I just have fun, and I sculpt and make cool things, and I make sure it's solid and thick enough for 3D printing with pronounced details. That's it. I mean, I guess it's still a lot in its own way, but it's not. I don't know. I think it's easier. It's not as tedious. Oh, and topology. I only manage topology as far as it makes it easier for me to manage my models. As far as like actually caring about optimization, I don't have to worry about that at all. Much nicer. I should really use a Transpose Master more when I am sculpting creatures to adjust proportions. That was much, much faster. Something to keep in mind when you're sculpting like a big gut like this is that there is still some definition. I forget that sometimes. Like, see how he was perfectly round and wide earlier? It actually should still have like a line of where the fat is pulling from, if that makes sense. You still gotta define their waist a little bit, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, I'm gonna go in with clay tubes and we're going to build up some more detail in the legs. Because I like this really, like, soft texture that's happening here. It is very peaceful. Not really following a whole lot of rhyme or reason, especially in areas you're not going to see as much. I know that these legs are still going to go through a lot of changes, so I'm especially not going to emphasize any like structure as far as like where the bones and muscles would lay, because I think I want this to look like wrapped tree roots by the end of it. We'll see. Those feet are so cursed right now. There we go. Well, the texture looks much nicer. And then Natalie added, video game artists also often don't put any texture in the models. It's all added in the separate texture / color layer. Yes, very, very true. And if they do it, it's because they're like, it's like a concept thing. They're not actually doing it to stay there. Oh, and they don't use the same software for everything. I am what you would call a ZBrush cowboy. This is what I use, or cowgirl. I do technically use other softwares like Mesh Mixer to like finalize the 3D printability of some things and check it out. But all video game artists that are creating 3D assets have a series of softwares that they use. Like, you're not going to retopologize in ZBrush. You can, but like, you wouldn't. It's just not nearly as efficient. Most hard surface modeling has moved to Blender at this point. As far as high poly sculpting, what I'm doing now, ZBrush is still the go-to. If Blender ever opened up or expanded their like soft sculpting like this, I would have no problem moving over or learning that more. As of now, it just doesn't feel as good. Not as capable. I definitely think removing one of the fingers was a good call. He looks better with just 3. Hand is a little screwed up right now. Can fix that. There we are. All right. This is starting to look pretty good. I knew it'd all come together eventually. This is just one of those models that was especially questionable in the beginning. Where else am I going to add a bunch of mushrooms and stuff? Probably on the sides of his feet. I'll just duplicate this and just move it right here. Yeah, that adds a lot. And just a nice texture. Natalie, I never doubted you. Thank you. Yeah, it looks like a bunch of these mushrooms are coming out of his armpit, and honestly, I kind of like it. I would like to give him some more clothes. I just don't even know where I'd put it. Like, I don't want to give him, like, a shirt, you know? But I want to give him something. I'm just leaning over here to grab my phone. Do-do-do. Right now I'm playing with my lighting and materials again. I'm concerned that I painted this guy too dark and now I have to deal with it. Which just pretty much means I have to keep increasing the brightness to compensate for these two dark colors that I used. Whatever. That's where we're at, guys. That's nice. I might need a third light for this one. Usually I only need two. But the colored lights are really helping fix my coloring mistakes. There we go. I knew I'd know when I'd see it. I was just having a hard time getting to that point. And then really quick, let's add some stripes to his hat. Right now I am just alternating with the damn sander brush using Alt and then turning without Alt, which is alternating between adding material and taking away material. Just a little really quick little technique. I'll do the same thing on the bottom of his hat with a slightly different pattern so it doesn't look too samey. This one's gonna be a lot lighter. It's looking pretty cool, guys. If I do say so myself. Oh, hell yeah. Cool. I'm really happy with this is turning out. Ooh, a mossy or mushroomy covered cape. Yeah. Let me just see where I'd even put that. Let's give it that kind of dark color. That'd be a really nice asymmetrical detail that can have draping on one side. Natalie, you have so many good ideas, I swear. I am pretty confident that's going to be like what takes this model from being like a pretty good design to like a very good design. I want it to be covering his shoulder at least a little bit, so that way it's more visible from the front. I don't want to do all this work just for it not to be visible. Unless you're looking at the very back of the model. It makes him, it reminds me of like Zorro or something, so I gave him like a dramatic half cape. And I like it. Oops. I don't really mind if it overlaps or clips through these mushrooms on the side either, because it's still going to look really interesting. Might want to wrap it around his neck entirely. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Happy to help. You said he needed clothes. He does. He needed something. He needed a cape. And then just really quickly, I doubt I'm going to keep this texture. I'm just going to use Damn Standard and some dots. Just kind of like drag them on there. Where is back face mask? There it is. Just really quick to see if I even like the concept. Yes, I do. And I can refine that and make more sense later. Having a rough edge is going to be very important for this to read well. And then I might do a similar patch of moss on just one arm. I'm really excited to send this to them. These clients have been so easy to work with. They have been delightful. Really giving me a ton of free reign. They just gave me two pictures. One was male, one was female, and they were like, pick which one you like. Go have fun. And I'm like, okay. I don't get clients that are quite that open-minded that often. Alright, that little moss patch did a lot. Looks very cool. Need to add another one. I actually like this texture for it. This is really, really low effort, and when I'm doing it in such a way where it's blending into the model, it's especially effective. It has that. Very nice. And then this is what I will send to a client, just in case you guys were wondering. So I'll take something like that, take a screenshot to it, and then I will edit it. And then by edit it, just in case you guys are wondering what that means. I think it's the first time I've worked on a commission on the live stream in a long time. But yeah, so this looks fine the way that it is, but it would be nicer if it was even easier to tell details apart. So I will go, I always edit my images before sending to a client. See the before and after there already? This is way easier to see. I'll increase the sharpness, so again, it's easier to see all the lines. Play with the contrast a little bit. Tap up the saturation. And then play with the highlights. But stuff like this just makes it a lot easier for clients to like kind of see what direction you're going in. Do not send them your muddled ZBrush images if you can help it, because this versus that, this is 1,000 times easier to look at and to read. And then also it helps to name your files something a little more thoughtful than screenshot 221027. You know what I mean? Even just work in progress looks a little more professional. There we go. All right, if you have been lurking on the stream or you have just joined, and I'm sure you're probably doing other things, but now is the time to watch because I'm going to play the speed sculpt back for you guys right now. So if you want to see what I've done this entire time since sitting down all at once, there we go. Now you can see it. I love watching these. And this is fun. I might actually send the live stream to my clients as well. I don't think they would mind. Usually I ask clients if I can live stream their work or show it before it's done. But these guys have been really, really chill and really nice. I think they'd actually like to see the process and see where it came from. If they happen to be watching this in the future and hearing me talk about them right now, hello, you've been great to work with. This is so cool. I never get tired of seeing this, ever. Hey, I'm like pretty good at this, huh? Once I put the little wedge things on its feet, I was like, yep, this is coming out fantastic. Excellent. Very, very happy with that. All right, cool. Let's see, how long have I been live streaming? How long did that take me? That took me an hour. Yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I pushed for years to get as fast as I could. If I wasn't live streaming and I was like really trying to like haul ass and finish this, I probably could get the same amount of work done in 45 minutes instead of an hour. Which now it's like, oh, it's like 15 minutes. I'm like, no, that's like 25% faster. Anyway, but once you push to get as fast as possible, then you can just kind of like relax for a little bit, and even your like chill speed gets you stuff quickly. Highly, highly recommend. He needs a bunch of like actual little mushrooms, which I might use your brush for, Natalie, who knows. If I do, I will make sure to pay you for it because I'm using this commercially. Really happy with this so far. Normally I'd go on a break at this point, but I'm kind of just happy with where this is at. So I might just call this live stream good and just end. Because I don't want to keep working on it right now, because once I get this much work done all at once, I really like to sit on it or send it to a client first for commentary, and then I'll come back with fresh eyes on the design. Otherwise, I might end up kind of like cementing mistakes in the design that I might not actually want to keep. So yeah, I think we're gonna call this good one good, actually. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is always really fun. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.